Now, I'd like to talk for a moment about our about-to-be immediate past board chair, Bob Millstone. We've asked him to speak about the progress we've made over the past 2 years, which he'll do in just a minute. Before he does that, I'd like to talk about him. It's been a real honor to work side by side with this man this past year. He's been outstanding in every role that he's taken on, first as campaign chair and then as board chair. Let me tell you about a few of his accomplishments with the Federation. First, he's worked quietly, gently, in his manner, leading the merger that led to the Saul Mirowitz Community Day School and making sure that that was an essential part of who we are. He's been at the forefront of the efforts on behalf of our assistance with the JCC that culminated this past year. He spearheaded the executive search committee that led me to my position, and I'll talk about that a little later. He's plodded along on some of the less high-profile projects, like the insurance program for agencies. He was instrumental in the development of the Create a Jewish Legacy program, the Millstone Institute for Jewish Leadership, our government relations efforts, and so much more. He's devoted himself to fulfilling the vision and implementing our strategic plan. He leads by example with great generosity and great humility. As a token of our appreciation for all his efforts, we have compiled a book of gratitude from all the people whose lives he has touched. Do I have that book? Is that up here somewhere? We'll show it to you in just a minute, but let me read you a few lines. First, repeatedly, I am impressed with Bob's dedication and leadership. Here's another one. You continue the legacy of service started by your grandfather with passion and commitment and a vision of a stronger St. Louis Jewish community. And I should say we had invited a large range of leadership, our board of trustees and others in the community to contribute. Here's another one. Thank you for caring to invest your time and expertise in the children who will one day turn out to be the kind, generous, ethical leaders that you have been. Another, I have been so impressed by your ability to advocate for the good of the St. Louis Jewish community. Another, it was an honor to work with you. And here's a quote from another, I learned so much from you about calm leadership, skillful negotiation, and sensitive kindness. And then there was one particularly humorous entry, Diane Katzman. Thank you, Bob Moses Millstone, for your leadership, kindness, new ideas, and fresh perspective. Let's see if you can see it. I'll just keep reading. Thank you for leading our people out of Bank of America bondage and parting the JCC. Thank you for your vision and commandments that have ensured a brighter future for the next generation of St. Louis Jews. Bob, please accept our most sincere and heartfelt gratitude. Ladies and gentlemen, won't you welcome and thank our outgoing Federation Board Chair, Bob Millstone.
I really wish they wouldn't ask me to speak after a moment like that. But really, before I go on with my prepared remarks, I want to say the privilege has truly been mine. I'll say a few words at the end about that, but this is an extraordinary community, and I've loved all the roles you've asked me to play, and I appreciate very much the trust you've shown me in allowing me to do the things that I've been have so much pleasure in doing. But tonight I have been asked to take a look, while we're talking about designing the future, I've been asked to step back and talk about how we got here. I've been asked to say a few words about the changes that we've undertaken that provide the foundation on which we are building. The buzzword for 2013 is big data, the ability to compile, understand, and make sense of vast quantities of data. In this, the St. Louis community was a little ahead of its time. In 2005, after reviewing the data and declining trends for Jewish federations around the country, the St. Louis Jewish Federation decided to take action. Under the leadership of Sheila Greenbaum, the Federation undertook a strategic review of its operations to become more effective and efficient. In 2010, under the leadership of Todd Seawalk, our focus shifted to collecting data from our stakeholders to see if we were working on the right priorities. We held community input sessions, talked to a diverse number of people locally, nationally, and overseas, and we visited other communities. We began to redesign the Federation, and the impact has been dramatic. Our planning and allocations process was redesigned to increase the alignment of programs we support with the highest priorities and which create the greatest likelihood of having the biggest impact. We expanded the organizations that are eligible to receive funding while trying to establish a more stable and predictable level of funding for our core beneficiary agencies. While the annual campaign continues to be the lifeblood of our community, the data demonstrates more donors want to give directly to programs that are most important to them. We expanded our targeted funding initiatives for our priority of programs. And as Andrew mentioned, we also established a Credit Jewish Legacy program, which provides endowment support for our local Jewish organizations. And as Andrew will tell you more about in a few minutes, or later in the program, we're continue to collect data to make sure that our development efforts reverse the long-term trends and raise the necessary resources to help our agencies, our temples, our schools, and other community organizations meet the growing needs. We've also created specialized task force to provide our day schools and agencies with the expertise and resources that they need to meet the challenges that they face. One such task force, as you just heard about, was instrumental in facilitating the merger of the Solomon sector and Saul Merowitz Reformed Jewish Academy and the Saul Merowitz Community Day School. The Saul Merowitz Community School has stabilized enrollment, brought in best-of-class technology, and most importantly, provides a quality Jewish education to a diverse student body. Another task force assisted the JCC with its financing issues. The JCC was able to sustain its array of outstanding services during a very difficult time and position itself to have no debt within the next 10 years. We also assisted Jewish Family and Children's Services in its fundraising efforts for their new and expanded food pantry. We're currently helping Covenant High with its redevelopment plans, so Covenant High can continue its much-needed services to an increasing population of vulnerable seniors in our community. We know we can only be successful if we maintain an outstanding and diverse group of professional volunteer leaders throughout the entire communities, leaders like we awarded and saw the videos on tonight. With the support of the Lubin Green Foundation, the I.E. Millstone Institute for Jewish Leadership was created to do just that. In 2.5 years, Marcy Eisen and Karen Scher, with the help of an outstanding advisory board led by Mont Levy, has established a national model for inspiring programs for professional and volunteer leadership. They have hosted over 30 different initiatives that have engaged 500 professionals from nearly every Jewish organization in our community. These efforts are facilitating conversations, building trust, respect, and appreciation for one another. I'm personally very honored, and know my grandfather would be as well, that a program with such profound impact would be named in his memory. And while I'm on the subject of exceptional leadership, I would be remiss if I did not mention Andrew Rayfeld. I've truly had the extraordinary privilege to work side by side with Andrew for the last 15 months. As Andrew demonstrated at the annual meeting here last year, he provides visionary leadership and an incredible intellect, humility, and outstanding judgment. He joined us during a time of both internal and external change. He has managed to transition with a thoughtful, respectful approach to all, and has a very deep passion for our mission. I would like to provide one example of how we're integrating our work in Israel with our work here. Our partnership with Atlanta and two communities in Israel have had a tremendous impact on enhancing economic development and reducing the number of children at risk in those Israeli communities. Last December, I was fortunate to travel to Israel with a group of influential legislative leaders from Missouri on a trip coordinated with the Missouri Biotechnology Association. The purpose of the trip was to show our legislative leaders how government policy can have a positive impact on economic development and social services. As a direct result of this trip, Representative House Budget Chair Rick Streams helped create 2 pilot programs in Missouri to help children at risk and people in prison. There are so many people I'd like to thank, and if I tried to do so, we'd be here all night, and I'm sure you don't want to be. Over the last 10 years, I've had the true privilege of serving with an amazing group of professionals, volunteers, rabbis, school leaders, agency executives, and others. I have truly learned a great deal from you, and now many of you are my closest friends. Thank you for all you do for your community, and thank you for your friendship. I'd also like to give special thanks to my wife, Colleen, and best friend. Colleen and I have been married for 17 years. 10 of those years I've served on the Federation board. She's always supported my involvement in Federation, even when spent nearly my entire vacation on the phone, which we have pictures of, missing important family events, or spending less time in my business than I should. A special thanks to my Colleen for what she has done and sacrificed for our community. I'm now officially trading my Red Sox hat for a Yankee one. We, however, continue to remain united in our support for the Cardinals. Oh, thank you. I brought a hat to prove it. I would also like to give special thanks to all the members and officers with whom I've worked with, all the board members and officers with whom I've worked with. You have demonstrated incredible judgment when faced with difficult and complex issues. Our community is a better place for your generosity of time and resources. And in conclusion, I would like to say a few words about Patty Krogan and Lee Wilansky, our co-chairs of the annual campaign, and obviously Patty is incoming board chair. And I would just like to emphasize with Patty coming in that you know you've done a good job if you replace yourself with someone better than you. Although Lee and Patty had never previously worked together, they agreed to lead the annual campaign. They have seamlessly and effectively led a team of volunteers to stabilize and grow our campaign during the worst economic crisis since the 1930s. For each of them, we have a Sadaka box as a token of our appreciation. I'm not sure where they are, but I'm sure they're here. And I'd like to call them to the stage now to accept our gift of appreciation for their efforts. So Patty's glass is a glass and silver box was chosen by a group of women who went on a women's mission in February. Patty has been steadfast in her efforts to bring in new people and look for new ways to fundraise. She has provided thoughtful, insightful leadership, and she has been a great mentor to many people, most especially myself. Lee's cherry and silver box is inscribed with the following: "It is not what one says, but rather what one does that makes all the difference in the world." Lee is a man of action. He's never said no to solicitation, and he's expanded our reach to new people. Lee also brings an understated and thoughtful approach to the issues we face and has consistently shown insightful judgment. We are so grateful for both Patty and Lee's contribution of time and talents. People don't usually trust me with fragile gifts. As you have heard, we have a strong foundation on which to build. I am excited about the future and look forward to our continued work together. And now I'd like to call Sheila Greenbaum, past president, who sat on the board development and nominating committee and is stepping in for Sandy Newman this evening.